are in Dicey Riley's. A pleasure to be here. Walthamstow Square, just behind us. We are with our friends at Erdinger, settling ourselves.
Just to confirm, Walthamstow is a place in North London.
Wolston Home Square.
Like Kenneth.
Oh, yes. Excellent stuff.
Wolston
Home.
No, commentator kept Kenneth Walthamstow.
I'm made up to be corrected. That's just gone completely gone on that. Yeah, Walthamstow is a place.
The first best to create wasn't fucking. I'm looking forward to watching this though, because we let you carry on there and me and Bucks looked at each other and went, is that right?
No, that was
I don't
wrong.
think that's right, you know, Kev.
It was wrong, but we're all the way in. We're all the way in, and we're with our friends at Erdinger. Do get the, when you come to Dicey Riley's, do get the right thing when you put it in your phone. You don't want to go to the one in Walthamstow, although I've heard it's good. Instead.
That's a hell of an Uber driver.
Yeah, it's taking far too long. You're all the way on the M6, you realise you maybe done something wrong here. What I want to talk about is the thing that has sort of got me all week, because, I mean, first and foremost, we'll start with you, man, here. Phil, where have you been this week?
Where have I been this week?
You haven't been anywhere, mate.
I haven't been anywhere, no, you're right, yeah.
And the thing about this...
I had to think of what I've done this week.
How does he know?
The thing about this is because you get to the vast majority of Liverpool games home and away. The vast majority. By vast majority, I mean like the last 2 seasons you're at about 98%. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think the last league game I missed 2 league games since the start of 23-24.
So that's a really solid attendance record across the board.
Cancelled.
And also you've done the Europeans this season as well.
Not even for excuses, Phil.
So you still at the house that day.
I did. Got to Birmingham.
You're not been anywhere this week, and I think it says so much about the way the season's been that it's been weird them not playing. It's been weird having to watch other sides. It's been weird seeing our opponents play on Sunday when we're not playing. And the extent to which, I want to be really clear about this, at times this season, people might have thought I've been a bit unsympathetic to Liverpool. I will be even more unsympathetic to Liverpool on Sunday. They have got all the prep time they could ask for. Their opponents haven't, and yes, they've got the boost of the good win, don't get me wrong, but it is absolutely brilliant that Liverpool have actually got some time in these 2 weeks to be able to look after themselves a bit.
Yeah, we've had quite a few midweeks off this year, because obviously with the League Cup as well, I think we've probably had 3 blank ones, which is a lot for Liverpool in a 2-month period.
That's insane.
With no international break.
That's an insane sentence.
It is a lot, because we used to relentless. I mean, we're not quite to the extent of Newcastle, who are going to play every single midweek. I think they're going to play every midweek between the November international break and the March international break.
Newcastle will play until the League Cup final.
Unless they lose 6-0 to Karabag in the second leg.
In the League Cup final, until the League Cup final, Newcastle have played every fixture that's possible to play over the course of the season. Which, if you're Newcastle, imagine supporting them, you'd be absolutely knackered at this point, and let alone the players.
Quite funny that they get to that position and then they go, by the way, at 10 days' notice, lads, we're going to send you to Azerbaijan. Have a nice time.
Even funny if you don't win a trophy at the end of it.
Yeah.
That'll do for me.
Well, that's almost certainly going to be the case, as the way in which it goes. So no, but the point is, Phil, they've got a really good bit of time here. They've got some advantage, the sort of advantage they don't normally get. I am very much in there. Yes, it's a difficult place to go, Nottingham Forest, City grounds, etc., but there's no hiding places.
Yeah, they've had a nice break as well. I think a few of them have probably been away, had a little breather, a couple of days off, whatever, and you've got to basically go in and fly at them from the off and take advantage of a team who have been to. It's not just a game on the Thursday for Forest either, is it? They've played in Istanbul.
Yeah.
And they've done a position where they won 3-0. You go to win 3-0, the top of the world. So the sort of, I always feel when teams are sort of that level do something like that, they sort of maybe knock off the next game and feel like, well, we've done that now and we've done the good thing, so we can sort of, no one's going to complain if we don't do this. It doesn't always work like that, absolutely not. But Liverpool have got to sort of put them in a position where they might just get to 20 minutes and go, Thursday was good, wasn't it? And we're all right. If we might lose here, but we're in the last 16 of the Europa League now, and we can go and build from that, and everyone will be all right with it. And that's what Liverpool have got to do. They've got to go out there and make sure. And listen, we are now in a battle for the Champions League. I think we'll be fine. But the only reason we will be fine is if we win games of football. And it's going and winning games of football like this when you've got. Liverpool do a lot of things in situations where it's like, fucking hell, that was a bit hard. Like, for example, we go to Brentford and we play Manchester United on the Sunday, then we play Frankfurt on the Wednesday, and we've got Brentford on the Saturday. That's a hard set of fixtures. That's a set of fixtures where you can look at it and go, all right, I'd rather Liverpool still win, but I can sort of go, well, it sort of makes sense why you're not quite on it. Sunday's the complete flip side of that, like the 100% opposite.
Keifer, this is where, Phil says about the Champions League places. this is where the manager, the players, they're rightly under pressure. They're under pressure with where the table is. They're under pressure with, you've got a week to prep for Forest, be ready. You're then going to have a week to prep for West Ham, be ready. You then actually got back-to-back games where Wolves have got no advantage over you. Wolves have then got no advantage over you again because you've just played them. You know, then, and even Tottenham, you know, you can even go as far as Tottenham. Tottenham will be playing in Europe the week before. They'll also be away.
Tottenham are probably at a disadvantage to us because the league game will be borderline irrelevant to them, whereas the Champions League game will very much be.
So this is where genuinely, you know, there's been pressure on the manager this season. A lot of people have said we're going to see where we are at the end of the season. I'm absolutely fine with that. It's the right way to do things if you can. But this is where you're in your court now. This is where you've got to put these points on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know obviously the March international break is coming up, but it does feel like now is like kind of the sprint end of the season. Obviously, there's 12 league games left.
Yeah.
You kind of into the last stages of the FA Cup. You kind of know what to expect from Liverpool. You can kind of look at the fixtures and be like, you know, that's going to be a difficult one. You know how other teams in the league are faring. So it does feel like now it's like, right, you know, we've had everything that's come already this season. We've had the difficulties, we've had poor runs, we've had, you know, some green shoots, but now it's like, right, there's 12 games left in the league. As Phil says, you know, they're in a shootout now for the Champions League. Hopefully that'll be extend to 5 places, and if it does, I kind of echo Phil's confidence. I think they'll be okay, but they need to start, you know, showing performances to kind of vindicate that confidence, and that starts on Sunday against Forest. I mean, I had a little look before, and I think out of the 8 Europa League games they played this season, and I think they've only won 2 of the Premier League games that follow. Obviously, Forest's players aren't used to playing in Europe. Obviously, they will be a bit more at this stage in the season, but on the whole, you know, they're not used to that kind of turnaround in fixtures. I think there's a real chance for Liverpool to kind of go in and start fast. I think a lot of times this season, you know, they haven't done that. You know, they've been chasing games 60, 70, 80 minutes, and maybe that's why they concede a lot of late goals because they're so open, so vulnerable in transition. But I think Sunday's a game where you just got to fly out the blocks, and as Phil says, you know, you want Forest to feel on 25, 30 minutes where this is maybe just a step too far, a reach too far. We've had a good week. You know, we've got something in the back pocket already from this week. The manager's done all right. And maybe they're looking at it and thinking, look, you know, 60 minutes, we are playing the Premier League champions here. We're 2-0 down. It's just a stretch too far. And but Liverpool have to get themselves in a position, and by doing that, they'll have to start really fast.
I haven't seen you since they played well against Sunderland. They played really well. A difficult away game, and 1-0 flat to Sunderland. By the time the final whistle goes, could have been 2, could have been 3. The excellent second half against Brighton, pretty good for the first half an hour. Ropey 5 before half time, just after they score, which happens to teams. But it feels like back-to-back performances. It feels like you can build on this again. It's another difficult away game. We know it's going to be intense. We know it's going to be long throws. All that nonsense is coming. We'll blame Mikel Arteta for that in a minute.
In a moment, it's coming.
It's coming. But we know what the task is again. Do you know what I mean? And this is where this is why, you know, if you can do it at Sunderland Stadium, you can do it at the City Ground.
That's exactly the way they should be looking at it, isn't it? I'd love to, like the lads at Boat said, that was a fast start and getting after them, and God love a goal first 10 minutes or whatever. Imagine
1-0 on 5.
But let's be honest about it. It's probably not going to happen. We probably do have to pin them back a little bit for minimal reward, and we probably do have to set ourselves in for what will become a tough game. I'm not bothered about that. That's all right. So every away game's tough. You're famous for saying it. Fucking hell. Every away game's hard work, isn't it? It is. But it's about being in a position to take advantage of those tough away games when you have ground, a team down and made mistakes, and then you've got the benefit of hopefully they tire in the last half an hour. I'm more than happy to win this game in the 98th minute, like Nunes did the year. No problem with that whatsoever, so long as we win. We're at the point now where we really do have to start pushing home any advantages that we do have. Not just against teams we're playing, but against other teams that we're going for the top 5 with. Now, Phil said he's confident. I think, to be honest, if you had to put me head on the chopping block, I would say yes, we will get Champions League. As you said, the way to do it, you've got to win games. You've got to make sure you get over the line. And Forest away after they've had not a terrible sit, that might be over egg in the pudding, but you could pick up a lot easier sit than Istanbul, couldn't you, on a Thursday before you played on a Sunday. Let's put it this way, if it was Liverpool in 2001 under Uriye, we'd have been going, wow, I don't fancy whoever it is at home. And this is Nottingham Forest we're talking about, not Liverpool. So the key for us is don't do anything silly. I think generally if we don't do anything silly, we're all right. And let's give them the credit where it's due. They haven't been doing anything silly recently, have they? Most of the time it's being controlled. It might not necessarily have been as scintillating as we'd like to see it, but we're not in a season where we can really afford to be picky about stuff like that. All we care about is the final result.
Scintillating's not having an up and down the division. So you've got this week, what happens with Arsenal at Wolves, and I think it's a good example of the 2-0 up. They've got the opportunity to maybe try and play some scintillating football. They fall back on themselves, and then and they've been very good at not doing something silly. Let's show them the respect they deserve. They haven't done silly things over the course of the season, but then every now and again they've got this one in them, and they have that on Wednesday night, and it's a great example of, obviously much the better side, top of the league for a reason at the minute, but the mentality's not right with half an hour to go. At times Liverpool's mentality's not been right this season. Do something stupid, shoot yourselves in the foot, get punished for it in this league away from home anywhere. That was top versus bottom. Liverpool cut that shit out, then they'll be in good nick. But even Wednesday, and we're going to go to Wolves ourselves soon, it's object lesson stuff. Don't do this.
Well, you look at the Arsenal results against Wolves, and you said, I hate to talk about I don't know whether it was that game or something similar the other day, and you said that when managers feel a little bit of pressure, he tends to revert back to the mean. You used the example of Fury again. Coming up a lot on this show, is like Gerrard. But the manager for Arsenal doesn't want to play football. He's scared to play football, which with his team I think is ridiculous. I think he's got more than enough players there to go 2-0 up against Wolves and go, okay, well, let's have a game of football now. And we've got a 2-0 advantage, so if you get one back, we're okay. But he doesn't want to do it. And I think my issue with Arsenal at the minute is, and the reason that historically, Arsenal probably not your second favourite club, because I've got no second favourite club, but you didn't mind if they won the league. They were taking off United. They always played good football. The fans are probably the most sound out of all of the London teams.
Ultimately, there was Thierry Henry as well.
Yeah, Thierry Henry. So the Thierry Henry point's good because you're watching beautiful football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're terrible. They're awful to watch. And my worry is, and I'm really rooting for Man City to win the league because of it. Is wild. It's mad for me to say that, but also ultimately you can go, well, who cares if Man City win the league? After all that's gone on with them, you can just shrug your shoulders and say, well, it doesn't really count for them or for anyone else watching. But Arsenal, if they win the league playing this football terrorism, then next season, 8 other managers will be like, that worked, I'm going to try that myself. And before you know, you've got a system.
They're already doing it.
We're already there.
Yeah, I know, but if it's successful, it's going to go further. Remember when Denmark won the Euros in '92? And for the next 3 years, football was garbage. They had to ban the fucking back pass law because of Peter Schmeichel. And fair play to them for doing it. I don't want to see them having to change all sorts of rules just because every team is doing fake head injuries and 45-minute fucking corners. Do you know what I mean? Honestly.
Did you listen to Ange on the overlap?
What did Ange have to say?
To be honest, he was going on about long throws and stuff like that to the point where I was ready to go to war for him.
Yeah.
He was like, this isn't what they invented football for,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think when they invented football that the idea was that loads of men stand around the goalkeeper and we lash your ball as hard as we can. And I'm like, tell you what, if Slot goes, let's get him in.
Rory
Bob,
watching this.
I'm like,
yes,
please. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, I'm right behind this fella. But it was.
Has he fit to Liverpool?
But the way he was spot on about this in terms of we've got to think about what football is, and he's talking about how they seem to have legalised just violence towards goalkeepers and sort of. There was one thing he did with Carragher where he goes, "Do you think this is a foul?" And Carragher goes, "Well, no." And he goes, "Yeah, but that's because you do that yourself. But that's a foul as far as I'm concerned, where you sort of stop someone from being able to jump. That's just a foul and not the whole purpose of this." And it was really interesting listening to him.
Well, I think you got to. I mean, just to complete white left field one when you're here. I think you got to let goalkeepers keep goal.
Yeah.
The word is goalkeeper. It's not just shot stopper. It's goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You got to let goalkeepers keep goal. And what all of it's doing is it makes it practically impossible for goalkeepers to keep goal because they can't move.
Goalkeepers cannot do anything. Anything on corners now. It's important. I've heard. Do you know Rolf saying it? Neville. You've got to be stronger. You can't be stronger because you can push me with your arms low like that, which gives you a low centre of gravity. If the goalie's coming like that, the centre of gravity's all off. You've only got to touch him there and it's over. Listen, loads of people are saying, "Oh, goalies have had it all the way for too long." Well, they can fuck off. It's it anyway. But at the moment, it's a joke. As Phil's just said, they'll lash your ball into the box, and there'll be a fella whose only job it is not to even look at the ball. He'll pretend that he is, but his only job is to prevent the goalkeeper from doing what he's supposed to do. And it's bullshit.
Let's think about the goal we scored at Sunderland. How was the goalkeepers was doing it in there? We've got 6 men stood around him and he can't get out. And great Liverpool score, but I don't necessarily agree with the idea that the goalkeeper is not able to get at the ball. Because surely that's the purpose of what the goalkeeper should be able to do that.
Well, to do another one from the past, I remember when Reina first signed, we went to Bolton away.
Yeah.
And someone grabbed his arm playing for Bolton, it ended up in the back of the net. And afterwards, Benitez said, in Spain, that would have been a foul immediately, you're not allowed to touch the goalkeeper. We're going to have to work with Keifer on this. There's now people doing far worse things. That was 20 years ago. There's now bigger fouls happening week in, week out. That was 20 years ago. And I always remember when Benitez said it and everyone being a bit like, oh, here he is, Rafa, etc., etc. Now, there's no comparison. And you think the game would go the other way. Do you want anything else you want to kick off about?
No, not particularly.
Not anything lined up?
I'm enjoying this history.
You've come to the wrong pint. You've come to the wrong Friday night. Keep it.
I'm not into saying a history show about
Yeah,
2000.
no.
Honestly, all not coming back in such
Honestly. The fucking terrible state of affairs I found that out as well. What, you mean yesterday, Keifer? You're calling that? That's the way in which it's going. I think it is. I do think it's got to change, but I think the way you change it, one of the ways you change it is Kev's point's right. In fact, Keifer's point's right is that you win. Yeah. And if you win, and listen, Liverpool do get the goal through doing a bit of it at Sunderland, it's worth pointing that out, but they play better football as well. They don't stand for any of the nonsense. Liverpool have just got to start winning. And if we win and play in the way in which we broadly want to play, then you're showing us the right way to do it. Basically, what I'm saying, Keifer, is do you agree with me that Florian Wirtz is going to save football?
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, just to go back to the point of Liverpool and stuff and the confidence issue, I think the season that we've had so far, and you maybe think that you've got to start fast, because otherwise if you get into a game, Liverpool might not fancy it. But you think Forest are on the fourth manager of the season, and I know Nuno, maybe that wasn't results driven as much. It was obviously kind of a personality clash with those above. But like, they must be so fragile. I mean, one goes in tomorrow on Sunday. Like their mentality is going to be on the floor. They're right at the bottom of the league. There is just a real opportunity, and I think at times we've gone to games like even Sunderland last week, and you think you kind of big it up, don't you? You think, well, they've not lost at home. Man City have gone there, didn't win. Arsenal have gone there, haven't won either. And you think, well, we're going to be in a bit of a dogfight here. Do Liverpool fancy it? But yeah, I know. I mean, I went to the FA Cup quarter-final a few years ago. I mean, the atmosphere was unbelievable. And I went to the one last year. I think you said on the show yesterday, it was really good as well.
It was unreal.
But like, you look at it, Sunday 2:00 kick-off. As Phil said, they just won in Europe 2 days ago. I can't see it being as kind of intimidating as what you'd normally think the City ground's going to be.
They do hate us, Keifer.
They do, but they do hate a lot of people, don't they? I mean, so yeah, I just think where Forest are at, there's just such a good opportunity there for Liverpool, and as I said, hopefully you can use that as a bit of a start zone now for the rest of the season.
Okay, back in a minute, we're going to talk about team selection. Welcome back, we are with Erdinger, and it is Friday night, very pleased to be here. I've got Keifer, I've got Phil, I've got Kev. Listen, part of this, Keifer, is the manager is in a situation where I'm not going to say he can pick his Champions League final team, that's not the case. There's still a couple of injuries. Frimpong needs one more week. We know Bradley and Leone will be until the end of the season. Isak is when he is. But in terms of, he gets to pick the team he wants. This week he gets to pick the team he wants. He doesn't have to think about anything on the horizon. There's such a break, being a break coming in, a break coming out. What would you do if you were him? What are you expecting him to do? Obvious question is right back.
Yeah, I think I said yes on a show yesterday. I think I'd do Gomez just because of kind of everything you associate with going to Forest. It'd be a tough game, kind of a lot of aerial duels. I think of the big fella up front, Igor Jesus. He's a handful. I can maybe see him going across. If you have someone like Curtis Jones at right back, I can maybe see him drifting across and maybe looking to target that area. But I do wonder if Forest are going to sit in. Would you want someone like Szoboszlai or Jones at fullback actually then, just as another midfielder, just someone if it's not going according to planning after like 25-30 minutes and Forest have got a bit of a low or a mid block, you've got another midfielder there, another attacker, someone who's going to run into the box, someone who's just going to make Forest turn around and go the other way. So I think it's difficult, isn't it? I think I think right back's just the one. I think the rest of the team probably picks itself. I know there's ramifications. Obviously, if you pick Szoboszlai at right back, then you probably bring someone else into midfield. But it just depends how they want to set up. But I think if they want to be aggressive and they want to take the game to Forest, I think Szoboszlai is your man. I just think everything that he kind of embodies in terms of that kind of physical energy off the ball. You can see him driving with the ball from deep quite early on, taking the game to Forest. Obviously, Gomez is the kind of complete opposite to that. It's maybe if you're expecting Forest to come to you and, as I say, give you a game that way. But I think, to be fair, either of them I can be happy with. I think, but I think I'd probably start with Szoboszlai. I think
Szoboszlai right back.
Yeah.
Calcer in midfield.
Yeah.
So I think I would do Gomez right back and not start Gakpo, and then you've got an attacking change, and you can, if it's 0-0 on 60, you can do Szoboszlai to right back, because if it's 0-0 on 60, Forest are sitting in. I'm not the one area of concern I have with Szoboszlai is when a team is sitting in. I don't think he hasn't really got the guile in the final third and sort of the pass. Whereas if you put him at right back, he's got the game in front of him, and his skill set is much more suited to that. But I don't necessarily think Forest might start the game like that. So I'd like to see what happened there. And if you get to 60 and it's 0-0, you can sort of move him to right back. You can bring an attacker on, and you can change it like that. Like Gomez probably hasn't got 90 in him, but he's probably got 60 in him.
You playing Vert on the left then?
In that situation, I would, yeah. I just think that's, of the players we've got available, I think it's the best and would give us a change off the bench. Because if you do, one thing with, if you do start Vertek, TK, Salah and Gakpo at the minute, you haven't got anything off the bench if you need to change something in the attacking sense. And I just think that the way you would be able to change it by bringing Gakpo on for Joe Gomez would, if there's 30 minutes to go,
you've certainly got the headline.
They'd look at it and go, oh, that's a change and that's a problem for us.
My only issue with that is I think I'm only about 27 seconds of watching Florian Wirtz away from saying to let him play wherever the fuck he wants to do whatever science.
He kind of does though, doesn't he?
I know, but
it's nominally on the left.
I know, but I just...
Do you think he's going to say football, Kev?
Honestly, if there's any man in the world that is due to do it, it's him. He's honestly, you'd pay... In fact, fuck off Liverpool. But you'd pay a lot to watch him. Honestly.
I do not quote this man.
Maybe a ticket price.
Yeah, also never put me on anything. I'm a fucking nightmare.
Maybe £1 more.
I'll probably get £1 more over the next 5 years. That's all I'll pay. No, but genuinely, I just love him in that point of the three in midfield. And I understand that it has other ramifications in terms of the work that's done off the ball. But what I would say with him is, you can't question how much work rate he gets to do in a game, mate. For a player as silky as he is, I don't think I've ever seen anybody put so much effort into the off-the-ball stuff. And that might be fair play to the manager, but I think it's probably mostly just fair play to Florian Wirtz, who just wants to be the best version.
He was like that in Leverkusen.
Yeah.
It's like he's decided he obviously wants to be a success, but he's figured out what he needs to do to be a success. And that was putting the weight on, for example.
I was going to say the weight is a massive issue for him, isn't it? And he's put that on. Just the way he touches the ball, the way he receives the ball, he's one of the few players in the league at the moment, and probably I think most fans would agree, if you could take the bias away, that the way, when he's one of them players that makes you go, oh, like, there's a couple of times in a game where you're like, do you know what, the other week, I flicked over someone's head on the edge of our box, and I was just like, oh, you messing up.
The one to Salah?
Yeah.
Right at the end of that Sunderland game. Brilliant, wasn't it?
There's one against City on the halfway line as well, isn't there?
They're the type of players you want to pay to go and watch, and I think if you've got one of them, let's just make him the main attraction. But I understand that the attacking sub change, but what I would say is, I'm no fan of Keifer. However, if you're saying in the last 20 minutes you're taking Gakpo off and putting Keifer on, I'm not crying about that either. So I think I'm okay with that sub. I
don't think we're going to say you're playing Wirtz on the left. It's when there's a third midfielder in there.
Stop trying to cage him, Phil.
I'm doing the opposite, Cav. I'm about to say it gives him a load of license to sort of float around, because you bring Jones in, for example, or there's McAllister or Szoboszlai, whoever's in that midfield, it means they can sort of be they can be really supportive of Kerkez on the left, and it means Kerkez can get higher as well, and you sort of get him into that area where he needs to be to get the best out of him as well.
The thing is, when you're saying that, if you don't play Gakpo, you're probably getting more from Kerkez, because they don't really...
I probably getting a little bit more control in the middle as well. The only thing when it's him and two is you see the little bit of sort of control sometimes. When a team's playing three midfielders, you see right back. You don't necessarily need that solidity, do you? Either way, it's nice.
I was just going to say, on the issue on the left, I think with Kerkez and Gakpo, he definitely has persisted with that. Obviously, he doesn't have loads of options anyway, but I think there is signs that he is getting better, which obviously it should do, 30 games into a season. But I thought the other day,
they've exchanged phone numbers now.
Do you know each other's name?
Yeah. Guys, you're on LinkedIn. But I think
on LinkedIn more like.
Cody's been walking around Melbourne at the exit for ages saying, not having the bottle to say someone, what's his name again?
Got introduced to him and I forgot it immediately.
I call everyone lads.
I think there is a dynamic that is starting to grow, and you can see that. I think Kerkez is another one. I think you can kind of put him in that same category as Wirtz, of someone who's really starting to kick on now. I mean, that
he's not going to say football.
No,
but he's
getting. Well, his mate's got him.
No, but he's going to help his mate say football. He's really doing the business. The minute Kerkez.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even the cross for Jones against Brighton, just to kind of whip that first time. I don't think he was looking at the box, and he kind of just that understanding of that there's going to be runners into the box, know where your teammates are going to be. And it reminded me of a goal that Liverpool scored against Salzburg in the Champions League, you know, and it was it Robert de Trent, wasn't it?
Robertson scored, I think.
Oh, sorry,
Trent Robertson, yeah.
But it was just that kind of like peak Liverpool 2019, like where they were at that time. That was the kind of impression I got, and you know, we saw how important fullbacks are in that team under Klopp, and I think if you can get more out of them, obviously it's been difficult this year with the right back situation, but someone in Keifer, he's obviously got massive shoes to fill in Robertson, but you know, it seems like he's kind of starting to get there. So I think there's loads to kind of take and be confident with, isn't there?
No hiding places?
Say again.
No hiding places, just do the business?
Yeah.
Just go and win.
Just get it done. That's the way it works. It's Friday night. We are in Dicey Riley's. We're very pleased to be here. Liverpool play on Sunday. I want them to be going at this like absolute caged animals. There's a Champions League place to get sorted out. You started on Sunday in a big way. Here's to Erdinger. See you later on.